Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolbarger and welcome to this week's Kfir Middle East Update. And the date is the week of December 6th. So first of all, let me encourage you to go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com in order to access the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this 10-minute YouTube video. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on this week. We usually start with sort of our news bites. Looks like a third election, by the way. Everything that I'm reading, all the information that I'm gleaning indicates that there will be no unity government. So prepare for the third election. Now, Israeli Defense Minister Naftali Bennett has approved the development of a new Jewish neighborhood in, of all places, Hebron. Now, once again, with this concept or with this new status of settlements not being illegal according to the U.S. now, it appears that Israel is sort of stretching its boundaries here. And in all places, we have what will be, in a sense, doubling the size of the Jewish community around the cave of Machpelah in Hebron. So don't expect this to be taken lightly by the Palestinians. Interesting that with everything that's transpiring at this point, we always kind of keep our eyes on that Ezekiel 38 and 39 scenario with Gog and Magog and that invasion. It was just announced last week from Iran that they will, for the first time, hold joint war drills with both China and Russia. And one rabbi, an end of days expert, stated that this will bring together all the elements to, quote, end all of history. And then from our friends at the Palestinian Media Watch, I find it interesting, once again, listen to this. A Palestinian university lecturer quotes, "The Jews were never in Palestine, but came as invaders 70 years ago." A Palestinian archaeologist states, "There's been no archaeological evidence of the presence of the children of Israel in Palestine 3,000 years ago." And then an author, Palestinian author, quote, "The Zionist narrative has falsified history. The children of Israel were never in Palestine." Unbelievable. But you remember the phrase that says, if you tell a lie often enough, sooner or later it will be believed. And that's what the attempt is here. Those are our news bites. A couple things to highlight this week. It appears that Netanyahu's plan, at least his last-ditch attempt with Benny Gantz and Blue and White, was to say, let me lead Israel as the prime minister for the first 6 months. Let me steer the ship, because in his mind, this is the opportunity of a lifetime that Israel could only have dreamed about, and it's time to implement the annexation of the Jordan Valley. And so that's the big push for Bibi to stay in office for at least that amount of time, even with the fact that it appears there will be no unity government. This is going to be the continual thrust and push right now. But with that in mind, the next article is that Jordan is preparing for a conflict with Israel. The Jordanian army conducted a series of military maneuvers this week, simulating an attempted invasion of the kingdom. And it appeared to be a message to Israel. The Jordanian media reported that the maneuvers involved large numbers of ground and air vehicles and were aimed at destroying the vanguard of the enemy, that being Israel, and the bridges that would be used as crossing points into Jordanian territory. Once again, this annexation watch, Israeli military officials are warning Bibi Netanyahu that if he annexes the Jordan Valley, it could imperil Israel's 25-year-old peace treaty with Jordan. Israeli Channel 12 reported in a meeting with Likud members on Tuesday, Netanyahu says he wants to seize this opportunity to gain U.S. support for annexation before the 2020 U.S. election campaign kicks into high gear. So once again, as we're looking at this, Jordan has been the so-called security blanket of a peace, countries at peace with Israel. But more and more as we're looking at this, we sort of hear the war drums sort of beating. So once again, let's keep our eyes on what's transpiring with this annexation of the Jordan Valley. An article here on Iranian missiles. Iran's been secretly hiding short-range ballistic missiles in Iraq that are capable of hitting Israeli, American, and Saudi targets. This from the U.S. Defense and Intelligence officers or officials that they've told the New York Times that America's deterrence has failed in a sense as Iran is capitalizing on the unrest in Iraq. All of the border strikes that we read about that Israel oftentimes declines is in this area that's called the Abu Kamil border crossing. And again, Israel is in the vanguard of, in a sense, taking care of this issue of the Iranian missiles. But once again, with everything that's going on in the world today, especially with the trouble in Iran, you wonder as they get pushed back more and more into a corner, will there be some sort of lashing out? We'll have to wait and see about that. There's an article here that I call "Is Hell Freezing Over?" A surprising break from previous years. 13 countries voted to oppose an annual resolution buoying the pro-Palestinian UN agency traditionally critical of Israel. The resolution, which included a call to halt Israeli settlements being constructed in the West Bank, it still passed with a large majority, but the big news here, for the very first time, 13 countries in the past that has abstained voted in favor of Israel. That's right, from the United States, 13 countries voted in favor of Israel. So again, the question is hell freezing over. And then, again, I wish we would open our eyes as a nation and really see the realities of what transpires in Israel, especially with the Palestinians. The head of Fatah, Abbas, the head of Hamas, Haniyeh. Again, listen to this. Abbas's wife has surgery where? In the best of the Palestinian hospitals? No. Doctors in Israel performed leg surgery on Amina Abbas, the wife of Palestinian Authority Mahmoud Abbas, at a private clinic near Tel Aviv. And earlier this month, Israel allowed the mother-in-law of the Hamas leader, Ismail Haniyeh, into the country for cancer treatment at a Jerusalem hospital. And again, a right-wing author writes, hypocrites, like most anti-Semitics, they hate the Jews, but they love being treated by Jewish doctors. Think about that one. Okay, running out of time. Article here from Cal Berkeley. I think it's interesting. And again, a BDS Intifada pro-Palestinian rally in New York City is promising violent riots on every college campus in America. Take a look at that. And finally, the last thing, head scratcher, bang our heads or whatever. Take a look at this slide. Christmas decorations. Christmas ornaments featuring the site of the former Auschwitz Nazi death camp went up for sale on Amazon and was recently removed from the site. The products were taken off the website hours before the Auschwitz Memorial Museum on Sunday morning opened. The museum called Amazon out in a tweet saying, selling Christmas ornaments with the images of Auschwitz does not seem to be appropriate. Take a look at these. Can you believe it? Decorating your tree with the images of the death camp, and they say, what? Anti-Semitism, right? It continues to grow. And then one last photo, I just simply say, how long, O Lord? Rockets once again fired from Gaza. IDF strikes Hamas positions. The critics in Israel are saying, we've got to do something other than just strike empty buildings. We warn Hamas that we're going to bomb. They leave the buildings. We bomb them. This is not the detriment that's needed. So that's what's going on this week in the Middle East. So stay tuned. Each week we provide updates and share these with your friends. And with that, remember, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray that Jewish eyes would be open to receive their Mashiach. God bless. Shalom.